I'm Yuri.
I'm Jakub.
And this is the first time trying to close butterfly doors.
Oh!
McLaren 650S.
Spider!
So if you're like me, you've probably never driven a supercar, so this is my first time and your first time.
So it's been an interesting experience so far.
I was nervous at first, but once you start driving this car, you're not nervous at all. It's very easy to drive.
Oh, the actual experience of driving it, the actual drive itself is super easy. It feels like a normal car, almost. But the experience around you of what's happening is next level. Everyone's just staring at you all the time.
And knowing the price tag of the car is like, it puts a lot into you.
Yeah, so this one is not new. We got this from McLaren Toronto, so shout out to them. They actually just became the #1 volume dealer for McLarens in the world.
Congratulations.
So people are buying a lot of McLarens in Toronto, so we wish we were those people, but unfortunately we are not.
The first thing that I got worried about was ride height over curbs.
Yeah, same here. Luckily, we have a nose lift system.
Yeah, we can control that with the left stick, which means you can get up and down people's driveways pretty stress-free.
Yeah, there's two ways to do it. One slightly complicated way through the menus, and then one easier way by just holding the stock. It's actually really intuitive once you figure it out.
Clich Corner.
You ready for Clich Corner in a McLaren?
Just feels like bringing the coolest car to your local corner is weird. It's like a celebrity visiting you.
It kind of is, actually.
Speaking of celebrity, everybody looks at you, everybody gives you thumbs up, everybody expects you to rip it.
Everybody
Don't
thinks
rip
you're
it.
famous. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing, but it also makes sense. You have to be the most restrained person in the world to own a supercar.
To drive a supercar every day.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of guys who own supercars just park them and do nothing.
Probably. Collect value and all that stuff.
How dare you?
Yeah, speaking of value, we didn't say the price. We'll tell you the price right now. This one is a CPO. You can get it for just over $300,000 Canadian.
That's a lot for a used McLaren.
It is, but is this thing crazy?
Yeah.
Is this a supercar?
Yes.
We got a supercar checklist.
Okay, hit me with the supercar checklist.
Do the doors go up?
Yes.
Do you look cool getting in or out?
You look cool getting out of any car with scissor doors.
Yeah, obviously.
Or butterfly doors.
These are butterfly doors.
Close enough.
So it passes. Is it fast?
Yes.
It's pretty scary fast, actually.
It's way scary fast.
Is it loud?
Yes.
Yes! Does it look crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It looks pretty damn crazy. Is there carbon fiber?
It is carbon fiber.
Pretty much the whole thing. Does it fit one box? And if it does, it actually fails.
I think it does fit a box.
So it fails the supercar box test.
Does it fit a small cup of coffee?
Yes, it does.
So it fails. The last one, the supercar visor test.
All right, here we go. These
3,
are...
2.
I can't even get the visors.
It's opposite.
Oh, here we go.
3, 2, 1. There.
Nothing.
It passes.
Oh, because it
it's
fails.
A supercar, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Supercars aren't supposed to have good visors.
Yeah, no. This car brought in like a whole new design language for McLaren.
For me, the P1 really did it for me in McLaren.
Exactly.
That's when I fell in love with certain McLaren designs.
And this has so much P1 influence. That's why it looks so good.
Especially the rear end with the spoiler that comes up and the taillight look.
I think the rear end is the worst part because it looks a lot like the MP4-12C fax machine.
To me, it looks like an old Ferrari, like from Sega Outrun, like the Testarossa.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, because
okay.
it's like the black taillight's like embedded in there.
Fair enough. I love the exhaust placement though. Supercar exhaust placement is always just A+.
I love how the spoiler goes up and down with the click of a button, no huss, no fuss.
Yeah, so you press this arrow button and the spoiler goes up or down. It's super easy.
And this is a Spider.
This is a Spider, yes, no roof.
And you can hear everything coming out of the engine behind you.
Oh, it's the best thing ever. Do not buy a coupe.
The front end's cool. I like the look from the driver's seat. You got big fender flares.
The front end is so swoopy because it has the McLaren swoop in it.
And
I love the new McLaren design language, I really do.
And the headlights look very P1.
Yes, they do.
And we got a cool double handle single wiper.
Yeah.
Side view mirrors are nuts.
They look like they were designed in a wind tunnel, and I guarantee that they were.
And they fold in just at the ends.
And they are carbon. Do you like the wheels?
I like the brake calipers.
The brake calipers are next level because they are carbon ceramic brakes right behind them. They look so good. I'm not a big fan of the wheels. They're a little bit too plain for me. I would like a nice mesh design, but I kind of get it.
You know what I'm not the biggest fan of?
What's that?
This color.
Yeah, me neither.
Like gray, come on. Orange.
Supercars need to be orange, green.
And then the carbon fiber would really stick out because it blends in so much to the car because there's so much on the exterior.
But it's not as nice looking because it's not a bright color and there's not enough contrast.
Before I let you drive, I want to hit up the infotainment and maybe some of the gauges, and then it's all you, okay?
Go for it.
The infotainment kind of sucks, but what do we say about infotainments that suck?
The car makes the difference, so if it's a fun car, the infotainment does not matter.
We got Sirius satellite radio, we can't rewind, but you can click on the buttons to do your presets. We got a volume knob, it's pretty simple.
And someone blocked out my rap stations.
Yeah, all the rap stations are blocked off.
They've been deleted.
43, 44, 45. I don't know if it was the previous owner, but I think that's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
We can't find out how to put it back.
Yeah, so shout out to you because that's really funny actually.
The screen is very hard to see.
Yes, it is. It's also very small. It's about the size of a large iPhone.
I think it's a good size for the kind of car it is. It blends in well. Reverse camera is so laggy.
It's so pixelated, so bad.
Supercar doesn't matter.
That passes the supercar test because it's really bad.
We got a nice analog tack with a digital speedometer in the bottom right.
I think the digital speedometer looks a little budget, the LCD readout and the color.
To me, it looks very race car because race car doesn't have time for pretty stuff. Pixels.
It's the orange that does it for me, but I get it because it's McLaren.
If the car was orange.
Yeah, well then that would help.
Yeah.
But in this color, it doesn't really help.
And then we've also got this little turn stock on the side, which the turn stocks look very cool.
Yeah, they basically shaved weight wherever they could. They cut holes in them.
The stocks control the screens to the left and right of the tachometer.
They have their own individual stocks below the turn and wiper stocks.
Yeah, you can control the individual settings, see your oil, water, fuel, all that cool stuff.
It's actually relatively intuitive for a supercar.
Yeah, it's like you get in and drive and don't really worry too much about the rest.
I really like how simple the whole layout is. There's not much going on in here.
And you know what I really like? Oh, the climate controls.
Oh, actually the climate controls are so good.
They're mounted to the sides on the doors, which is kind of weird, but it makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. We have our own individual settings, but we've been fighting over the vents because there's only 3 vents in this car.
Yeah, and it gets hot.
So we have to split up the vents by the center vent. So Yuri gets 50% of the time and then I get some.
Yeah, it works out. It's whatever. You're in a supercar, deal with it.
Exactly.
And if we have sunburns, we're in a supercar, deal with it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get sunburns. We did not put on any sunscreen.
All right, Jacob, your turn to drive the supercar.
I can't wait.
But I want you to start off with the seat adjustment.
Okay.
Seat adjustment.
It's pretty weird.
It's like the side is in front of you and the controls are weird. You don't know what you're doing.
And the heated seat is also there, so make sure you don't press that in the summer.
And another thing I like about the seats, there's a coat hanger on the back.
Which is pretty funny, but that's a gentleman's car, so it makes sense. All right, send.
Let's go.
We do have launch control. We're not allowed to use it, but this is how it works. Oh my God, 650 horsepower, but that's in European specs, so this actually has 641.
Still counts.
And 500 pound-feet of torque.
V8 twin turbo.
3.8 liter twin turbo V8. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
This is an insane amount of power.
This is insane. For the roads, I'd say probably about, I don't know, 75% too much.
Well, okay, we just drove the GT2 RS and the GT3.
Yes, we did.
I feel like this is scarier, but maybe because we're not on a racetrack.
Exactly. We will be driving those on the road, so watch out for that.
The GT3 had a 9,000 RPM red line. This is
8,500, and I've only hit it once because I was too terrified to hit it more because I'm gonna lose my license.
It's hard to keep yourself in check in these.
It's really hard. This is the same level as the E63S in terms of me losing my license on the public roads. So I always have to be down a gear so that I make sure that there's enough turbo lag that I don't lose my license.
Okay, it does have turbo lag, but it's fun turbo lag.
Oh my God, the turbo lag is unreal. There's a lot down low, and then all of a sudden, it's just gone, gone, gone. It's crazy.
Once you start going, it just pulls like a roller coaster.
This will do 0 to 100 in 3 seconds, and the GT2 RS does it in 2.8. They're basically pretty much even. At that point, you can't even feel the difference.
That's pretty cool.
But you know what's even cooler?
Cliche corner, supercars.
Cliche corner, supercar sound, downshift, and here we go. I'd say about 75% throttle. Oh my, it's so flat. The turn-in, there's no understeer. You obviously can't push it enough because the car is just so crazy. But one thing we haven't mentioned, how comfortable is this?
Oh, it's very comfortable. I expected supercars to be stiff, rigid,
painful,
scary, and scrapey, but no, this is like low normal car.
Yes, except it is still scary.
Yes. Yeah.
Speaking of scary, you can put it into scary mode. We have one for the handling and one for the power and performance.
So we have normal, sport, and track.
Yeah, for both of them.
But I think now they named normal comfort in the newer McLarens, which we're probably gonna have to test out sooner or later.
If you put the handling into track mode, all the aids are off, so traction is off and you're gonna die. So don't ever do that. I haven't even gone that mode because it's way too crazy.
I'm not ballsy enough to try that.
Yeah, me neither. I don't want to lose my license, plus I don't want to crash. But anyways, this is rear wheel drive, and that's what adds to the scary factor because all the power is being sent behind us. The engine's right behind us.
But I like that. I like rear wheel drive.
I love it. Rear wheel drive with the engine behind you.
Rear wheel drive is my favorite drive.
Back to the suspension for a second. The suspension is actually hydraulically controlled, which is pretty crazy. No other supercar manufacturer does that, only McLaren.
Along with activating those modes with the toggles, there's an active button. So you need to click the active button when you get in the car for it to go back to those settings.
Otherwise, it's in your default previous mode.
Even if the toggles are at something else.
Exactly.
Which is kind of cool. It's like start up in sport mode with the click of a button.
You know what we haven't really talked about too much? We only mentioned it briefly. That sound. The turbo spool and the blow off and everything, oh my God, it's so good right behind your head. Like I said, if you don't get the Spider, don't even buy this. Don't buy this in a coupe.
Okay, cool thing about the Spider, when the roof is up, you can drop this window so you can still hear a bunch of engine noises.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't get fried in the sun, but you kind of have to because this is
you're in a Spider.
Yeah. The transmission, 7-speed dual clutch, nice paddles. They feel amazing. They shift super quickly. They are lightning, not Zeus.
Not Zeus.
Yeah.
If you watched our GT2 RS on the track video,
you would know what that means.
Zeus is one step above lightning because he controls lightning. I don't know where Thor falls in line, but we'll figure that out one day.
However, these are very different and very cool because they're actually connected to each other. So if you click down on the left one, the right one moves as well. So you click forward and down with the right or the left. It's really cool. The one thing that I noticed with the transmission is that if you don't leave it in drive and you're starting and stopping, it's very, very manual clutch-like. So you can actually blip it, which probably isn't good for the clutch. So in traffic, this probably wouldn't be the best.
We didn't really talk much about the auto, the automatic, or the manual.
Yeah, because I've been leaving it in manual the whole time because I want to have fun.
I didn't have a problem driving it in auto. It pretty much takes care of everything if you want to rip it. If you do use the paddles, it switches to AM for automatic manual, I guess. But it doesn't hold gears too long.
No,
so you got to do quick little shifts and then it'll go back to auto.
Yeah, or you just manually select manual and then you're good to go. And it's so comfortable on the highway, and it actually does have cruise control. And the funniest part is we have a speed limiter. So you can actually set your maximum speed. So if you have no self-restraint, you can set it to 100 kilometers per hour, and if you floor it, you will not go faster than 100 kilometers per hour.
And if you have a little bit of restraint, you can have it call out when you break the speed limit.
Yes, through the GPS.
Which is weird. The settings are weird, the infotainment's weird, but it's got my satellite radio stations, and I don't care.
Would you like to know a little fact about the steering wheel that I learned today?
Yes.
It was molded after Lewis Hamilton's steering wheel from his F1 car.
Interesting.
How crazy is that?
Do you want to hear an interesting fact that I learned today?
I would love to.
They made the steering wheel the same, but it didn't feel quite right. Turns out they had to make it a millimeter bigger because he wasn't wearing his gloves.
That's what happens when we do research. Since we're in a supercar, I'd like to point out the amount of carbon fiber in this.
Everywhere.
Except I would like a little bit more because there's actually carpet on this massive door sill because we're actually sitting in a carbon tub.
I like the carpet. It's nice. Nice against my legs.
You can actually spec this out exactly how you want it. McLaren will do anything for you. You can change the stitching and all that. Speaking of that, we got orange stitching. The seats are very comfortable.
If only they repainted the car orange.
So pretty much everything from the wheels back to sitting right behind us is all carbon in the bottom. We're sitting in carbon fiber.
Okay, speaking of carbon and sitting back there, we can pop the back hood, I guess, of the engine.
That's the engine bay.
Is that still the hood? Yeah, it's called the hood.
I think it's called the hood.
And it's pretty small, but you can see the little McLaren engine in there. It's not a little engine, but you can only see a little bit of it.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like a V8 because it's only a 3.8 liter. It sounds like an F1 V8, which is amazing.
Yeah, it does sound very F1.
Yeah, it's not like American Muscle V8. It's definitely F1 V8.
You know, I think I'm a supercar guy.
I think so too. I'm definitely a supercar guy.
I used to be a muscle car guy, but like, I don't know, man.
And we do have a frunk in here, and the frunk is decently sized for a supercar.
Much larger than I expected.
Speaking of passenger and driver compartment space, there's way less space for the passenger for legroom. Way less.
Really?
I noticed it because
you got longer legs, yeah. I'm adequately sized.
So if you're 6'1.5", you're gonna suffer a little bit in the passenger seat. This car is unreal. If you can afford something like this is a special car.
But get it in orange.
Definitely get it in a bright color. If it comes in a Skittles pack, that should be the rule. If it comes in a Skittles pack, you should get it in that color.
Yeah, I agree.
So now that you've driven a McLaren, where does this fall in supercars for you? Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, those kind of things.
I haven't driven a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but looks-wise and image-wise, I still think I like the looks of a Ferrari or a Lamborghini more, but I think this is more rare and a little bit more special.
I think it is too, exactly, because it's a lot more rare. However, McLaren is apparently selling a lot of them, so that's good.
In Toronto.
In Toronto, yeah.
Let us know which supercars you want us to review next.
Because we'd love to review more, so let manufacturers know which ones you want us to review.
Don't forget to subscribe, notification bell, patreon.com/TheStraightPipes.
So that we can buy a supercar. And let's finish this off with the top-down subscription break. Let's see how long it takes. I'm gonna press it right now while we're still driving, and here we go.
Stay above 40, stay below 40.
35 kilometers per hour.
Go 30, go to 39.
32, 30. Here we go, subscription break.
And not yet.
Not yet, guys.
Close the video, don't forget to subscribe. I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. This is a subscription break. Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe right now, subscribe. We didn't do that.